Good evening. Oh dear, blame my mum on I'm going to have it. Talk amongst yourselves. Hungry Jones. There you go. I need some more delicate fingers. Is that alright? Can you hear me? Yeah. Good evening, I'm Seb. My story is very different to John. I always think like if John was there, you know, croquet, nice stuff, you know, thumbs in his mouth and all that. I'm there, you know, roughneck really. And what I'll just start from, for me, I never grew up knowing anything about any sort of Christianity or religion. To be honest, my mum had been brought up as a Catholic. She's French, and she moved to London when she was quite young. But she always thought all the nuns and all that was all a load of rubbish. When she started to think for herself, and so she stopped believing in all the God stuff. And well, I don't know if she ever believed in the first place, to be honest. But she moved to London and decided to start life there when she was 20-odd, I think. And she had quite a messed up life herself, I realised later on. At the time I didn't understand it all, but she'd been running away from quite a hard life. You know, her dad had died really young, he'd been in the World War II, had been tortured by Germans and ended up being an alcoholic and dying when he was only 45 years old. And so she had her own stuff going on, so I can forgive her now for all the stuff she'd done to us. But she was a person who was looking for something, I guess. And but she was always looking for it in men, really. And I have two brothers, and we all got different dads. She's never been married, my mum, not even yet. But I've got a brother who's like black, and his dad's from Barbados. I've got a younger brother who's sort of same sort of brown as me. His dad's from Mauritius. My dad is half French and half Pakistani, but my dad doesn't even know I was conceived. So he has no idea he has this lovely son walking on the earth. And he really missed out on that, I'll tell you. And so obviously, from my own perspective, we were quite a weird family, because there wasn't many families like us where I grew up. I grew up on quite a rough estate in South London, which is why I talk properly. And, not like you lot, not like John. And so I just remember when I was growing up, life just seemed hard, man. You know, there's my mum working full time, there's me and my two brothers, there's different gentlemen coming in and out of mum's life. And I just remember thinking, man, life's hard, you know. I remember on our estate, I used to get beaten up a lot because it's a predominantly white area. I don't know if I look the right colour I am under these lights. I'm quite brown, you see. Probably a bit more yellow, but I'm trying to get ready to get. But so we were always different, and even in our rough area, we were treated badly by the rough people. And so I just remember hating being me as a young child. I became very shy and very insecure, and I had a real inferiority complex. I thought I was a real rubbish person to be. And the only time I remember praying as a kid is when I just said, I remember just looking up when I was about 8 years old and just saying, I really wish I wasn't me. And I really meant it, because everything about being me and being in the life we live seemed to mean pain, it seemed to mean hurt, it seemed to mean brokenness, man. I mean, I got sexually abused when I was like 9 years old by some old man who pretended to be a friend. I've been beaten up by groups. Wherever I went, I seemed to meet groups of people who wanted to beat me up. I must have one of those faces or something. And for my brothers and us, it was the same. You know, my mum would work all night, and when my mum went out, I was left to look after my brothers when I was only like 12 years old. And she'd go out, and then as soon as she was out the door, we'd go out terrorising on the estate, you know, around the old people's homes and throwing stones at the windows, getting in trouble. And so I remember I said, I want to be like the bad people. I was about 9 years old, and I saw the bad people at school, and I thought, I want to be like them, because no one seems to mess with them, no one seems to give them any trouble. And they seemed to get all the attention, and I just wanted some attention, you know what I mean? That wasn't negative. And so I joined the bad people gang, and my mum wasn't very pleased, and we used to go out and get in trouble and stuff. And I remember going to a party when I was 11 years old, and for the first time, some of my mates, they nicked some booze. And one of my mates, his mum, bought us a bottle of martini to take to this party at school. When we were like 11. I thought she was great, like oh, what a mum. And so I remember just getting totally hammered when I was 11, and it was like, for me, it felt like the best thing, because I didn't feel insecure, I didn't feel shy, I didn't feel self-conscious, and I felt like confident and loud, and I thought, yeah, this is what I want to be like. And so every party I went to from that day on, really, I just used to get totally hammered. And then some mate said, oh, you want to try smoking some of this weed, man? That's pretty cool as well. So we started smoking weed, but really, I had no ambitions. I was never turned up at school, you know what I mean? I did terrible in exams. And to be honest, I didn't even care. I had no ambitions, I had no drives. I didn't think I'd ever have a good job. I didn't think I'd ever have a good life. I just knew the only thing I liked was to be off my head, because then I just didn't feel like me anymore. And I felt quite like I was somebody else, and I could relax and not be inhibited and stuff like that. The problem is, I did like to chase the women a bit, even though I could only do it when I was drunk, because otherwise I was too shy to talk to them. And so I remember thinking, if I got a nice woman, I've got a nice bird, if I had a nice woman, maybe that would be a special thing that I could have that would make me feel good and stuff. And so I remember it took me until I was about 18 before I could convince a girl to go out with me. And, and at the time I had I only wore black clothes, I had long black hair, and I thought I looked really cool and dark and mysterious. But I look back and think, oh my God, what an idiot I was. But and I was in this heavy metal thing, and yeah, we get drunk and we do this, and it's funny because I then had my mates who into rap music. We used to smoke weed. I was like, I just blend. Whatever group I was with, I'd try and blend in and do whatever they did, like a comedian sort of thing. So eventually I met this girl and I thought, this is it. I found love, and isn't it great? And the problem is, I just found that all my insecurities and all my paranoia, it all came rearing its ugly head at the moment I let someone close to me. And I ended up I was so horrible, to be honest, to this girl. I was just, I didn't hit her and stuff like that, but verbally I was really horrible. I was very negative with my mouth, I was very cutting. I used to always put my mates down, I think in my mind I was thinking, if I could put people down, it'd make me feel a bit bigger, so I used to always be putting people down and cussing them down and stuff. And then when I went out with this girl, it just seemed to be worse. And I was like, I remember thinking, is this me then? I'm going to be one of these jealous blokes who's insecure, can't have a healthy relationship, never going to have a good job, just a wreck. You know what I mean? Oh God, I'm a dropout. I was 19 years old, and I was a dropout. I was on the dole, and get my gyro, go and get beers, smoking, go out partying. And that was my life, and I didn't have nothing else. It was just ridiculous, really. Until one night, I have changed, by the way, I'm not still like that. But one night, this girl I was going out with, she said to me, do you want to go to this party in this hall, it's near where we live? So I said, yeah, cool. She said she had a mate there or something. And so I got one of my mates, and we went down to look for this party, and we went to this hall, and there's a smaller place than this, a lot lower ceiling. But I remember looking through the window in the hall, and just seeing loads of old people sitting down, and there was this geezer with a big ginger Mohican and a punk-like jumper sitting in the middle with old people in like a church service. And I'd done a double take thinking, oh my days, what on earth? And someone saw me looking through the window, and this old lady, Ruby her name was, and she came out and saw me looking in and said to me, hello, how are you? And I was like, yeah, we're all right. And she said, do you want to come in and have a cup of tea? We're like, actually, I'm looking for a pie. This can't be the place. I think we must have got lost or something. And she says, oh, come in. You can have some sandwiches and cakes. She said, it's all free. And then I was like, oh, is it? Oh, well, maybe we have got a bit of time, Maybe we could just pop in and say hello. And I was thinking, yeah, just fill up with food and drink and stuff and then get out of there. But I remember walking in there, and I don't know what it was, but I just felt like there was a warm atmosphere. That's the only way I can explain it. I remember looking at their heating and thinking, that's funny, these heaters seem to make you warm on the inside and the outside. How strange. And this bloke with a Mohican came and started talking to me. And I said to him, oh man, are you looking through the window like me? You looking for this? I thought he was looking for the same party as me and got lost and got hoodwinked by his old people. But he turned out to be one of them. And I was like, well, you're one of these religious people. And he was like, well, sort of. And I just started to say, how comes you're a religious, mate? God, look, you look like a cool dude, you know? And he said he used to be a drug addict, and he said that he had a relationship, like John said, he said, it's not about being good. He said, you can have a relationship with God and all this stuff. And I thought, all right, I've never heard anything like that. But I found this bloke intriguing. It's like, it sounds so corny to say it, but it was like he had something about him. And he said to me, do you want to come and we can have a chat about it all? And I said, yeah, all right then. So we went to someone's house. I mean, we must have chatted for about 4 or 5 hours. And my girlfriend was there, my mate. And they were just sitting there really, I think, a bit bored. But I was just really excited, thinking, man, this bloke's amazing. And I just asked him every question I could think of. What about this? What about that? Just going on and on like that. And everything I said, he just seemed to give me this gracious answer that just seemed to hit the nail on the head. And I was like, wow, that's cool, man. That sounds real good. And the more we talked, the more I thought, man, this is good. There's something about this bloke. I could feel something happening. I didn't understand nothing, but all I knew was what I was feeling. So this bloke said to me, can I say a prayer for you? And I was like, yeah, if you want. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do, whether I was to kneel and I don't know what you're supposed to do. I had no real contact with religion. And so I just closed my eyes and sort of thought, that's what you do when you pray. I remember that at school, close your eyes, pray your prayer before lunch or whatever. And I just remember he prayed off, praying whatever he was saying. And I just said to myself, not out loud because we're way too embarrassing, but I just said to myself, Jesus, if you're really real, I want to know you. And the moment I said that, I felt like a hand on my chest. And I thought, who's putting their hand on my chest? So I opened my eyes and everybody was there with their eyes closed. And I was thinking, that's weird. It feels like someone's put a hand on my chest. But there obviously isn't. So I was just trying to think, how strange. And I started to feel something happening, like, in my heart. And even deeper than that, deeper than I'd ever felt anything happen. I felt something start to happen. But I was getting a bit freaked out really, because I liked what I was feeling, but I didn't understand what was happening. And so I said to this bloke, thanks mate, you've been well hospitable and all that. Cheers, thanks dude. I'm going now, we've got to get out of here. It's like nearly 12 midnight sort of thing. I wanted to get out of that house to try and say to my girlfriend and my mate, you feel anything weird? So I went out, I said to them, hey, you feel anything strange happening? They were like, no. I said, man, I feel well good, man. I feel brilliant. And they're going, what? I said, man, I feel love and all this. And I just felt something deep in me become alive. That I can't even explain it, to be honest. And I think it's one of those things that if it's happened to you, you know what I'm talking about. If it hasn't happened, you won't know what I'm talking about. But something became alive, and I just had a consciousness of God. And I remember, it was so weird, man, because I was looking at the trees going, oh, the tree's beautiful. And you've got to think, that was not how I talked. I never spoke like that at all. I was effing and blinded since every odd word since I was about 8 years old, except when I was at home. And I was like, oh, the trees are beautiful. The world's a beautiful place. And my mate and my girlfriend were just like, what on earth are you going on about? And I was going, God's real. Hooray! I was just absolutely buzzing. I felt like some life had exploded on the inside of me. Love had exploded on inside me. And I intuitively knew that this is what I'd been looking for. This was reality. There was substance. And I was like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. So they just left me because I was looking at the trees and, And I just remember going home and thought, I've got to tell everybody what's happened. And so I went home and I woke my brother up. He was sleeping on the sofa. And I said, Nick, you know, I'm having a religious experience right now. And he was like, what? I said, I'm having a religious experience. And he said, what do you mean a religious experience? I said, you know, Jesus and the religion. I said, I'm experiencing it now. I said, I'm buzzing. I've been to this place and I was talking to this bloke and he was saying to me, oh, what are you going on about? You're mad, like. And then we just started to talk. And he started to ask me about God then. He said, all right, then if you're, tell me this. And I'd just think about it for a moment and the answer would come to me and I'd tell him. And he'd go, oh yeah, that's quite good, Sam. He'd say, man, that's cool. And then he kept asking me questions and the answer would come and I'd tell him the answer. And he's going, how do you know all this stuff? I said, I don't know, man. I said, I don't know. I just keep thinking of questions. And when I think of questions, the answer just seems to come into my mind. And it all seems to make sense. And then he started to say, man, this is cool. This is well good. And I couldn't sleep all night. I was in bed just asking questions all night. And something was saying, because of this, because of this. And I felt like I was encapsulated by wonderful love. By real buzzing joy, like. I got up and I ran downstairs and I said, Mum, I've had a religious experience. And I said, I'll never be the same again. And she was like, yeah, all right, whatever. And I started to wash up and she's saying, God, what are you washing up? I said, I don't know, I just feel good, I want to do good. So I started to wash up and clean up and stuff. And she was like, man, this is weird. She liked it, but she thought it was weird. And I went round my mate's house then where we used to do all that drinking and stuff. And I went in, I said, I'm going to start, got any washing up to do? I'll do it for you. And I started washing up and they were like, what on earth's happening to you, Seb? Sorry, man. It's different, yeah. And I'm excited. And I just, for 4 days, I was just experiencing this powerful, amazing God that I didn't even know was real. I thought it was all a load of rubbish, mate. And if anyone had said that, it's rubbish. I heard someone say it's better felt than tell, Christianity, you know what I mean? It's something you have to experience for yourself. God don't want you to be believing just for some religious stuff. He wants you to believe in him because you've met him yourself. And that's what I experienced, something that has substance. And I went, you know, within a few months, my mum also had the same thing happen to her. My mum, man, she'd been suicidal. She told me later on that she'd even tried to commit suicide and woke up the next day and said, man, I can't even do that right. And I think that's funny, Bob. Oh, well, I'll remember that, Bob. Tell my mum about that, she'll remember me. No, but it's only because you know she's away now. But now my mum, man, my mum goes on missions to Africa. My mum's the happiest person I know. She's got so much love inside her. God's healed her heart, healed her emotions. She's got love, peace. Anyone who knows my mum, she's just a happy-go-lucky person, man. She's not the same woman I grew up with anyway. And I was with my mate. I was in London this weekend, and I was with a mate who I talked about Jesus, and he'd been in like armed robbery and in and out of the neck and all that. And I used to talk to him about God, and he said, Seth, man, I ain't a religious bloke. I said, man, I ain't a religious bloke. But God's real, whether you're religious or not, and you can know God. And we used to just talk for hours. We were real good mates, and he ended up having the same life-changing experience. And I was with him today, and we were just laughing because he's now got a really well-paid job, nice house, family. He's in IT, and I come down in a new car because I've got my own business, self-employed plumber now. Got married to a beautiful wife, had a brilliant relationship. Just got 8 weeks ago. My wife gave birth to my little daughter, Lily May. I wanted to get a picture of her today, because I know you'll all love her if you saw her, but you can't know her. And I have to pinch myself, you know? I have to pinch myself, because I've got all these material things that are excellent, you know what I mean? I've got a nice car, I've got a house, I've got a nice missus, I've got a lovely daughter, I've got all this stuff. But none of it really compares to what I've got in here. There's something that's in here that's become alive. There's something that wasn't alive that is now. There's something that's got substance. There's something real. There's something tangible. There's something meaningful that's happened to me that has changed my life. And I've seen at first I thought I was the only one. I thought I was like this one person on the planet. But as I met lots of different people from lots of different lives, a lot of people I've helped introduce to God themselves, and they've had their own life changer, and that's cool, man. I love it when I've seen them sort of things happen. But I've met so many different people who've got their own story and had the same sort of things, and we all come to the same conclusion and discover the real God who just wants to be real in our lives. And to be honest, it's wonderful. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Okay. It is bright out there. What a testimony. Thank you, sir. Thank you, John, wherever you are. I can't see you anywhere. And thank you, Neil. I think for me, and I hope for you, that the two stories and the two testimonies are very, very, very different. But the conclusion is the same. As he is actually very real to those people. And he just exists. It is true. And he is relevant. Okay. So that's a little bit from two people here about Jesus and Alpha. But what does the wider world say about the Alpha Course? The press actually say a number of different things. Madeline Bunting from The Guardian actually wrote about Alpha. What Alpha offers, and what is attracting thousands of people, is permission, rare in this secular culture, to discuss the big questions, life and death, and their meaning. Look at a quote from Clifford Longley in the Daily Telegraph. He puts it very simple as a one-liner. Alpha is an unqualified triumph. Damien Thompson at the Times: what distinguishes Alpha from other initiatives is the easygoing, relaxed feel of the proceedings. Not just that, but its astonishing success. There are, in actual fact, at any one time in the UK, 7,000 Alpha courses running at any one time. And throughout the world, there have been approximately 12 million people that have actually gone through an Alpha course to date. And they've only been running properly for about 15 years, I think, isn't it? So what have we got on offer here for you for the future? If you do wish to actually come on an Alpha course, this is actually not the Alpha course, this is just an invitation supper tonight to whet your appetite, to give you an idea of what it's all about. So to make that a little bit more tangible for you, the Alpha course proper starts next Monday here at 7 o'clock. We have a meal, again, provided by us. There's absolutely no cost to you, similar to tonight. And then we have a brief talk on a specific subject for approximately 30 minutes. So after we've been fed and watered about 8 o'clock, we do a talk. And then we split into discussion groups. And I have to stress here that these discussion groups, they really are discussion groups. There are no taboo subjects at all. You don't have to actually comment at all. Some people just sit there and listen. You're never ever put on the spot. If you do decide at any stage it's not for you, then just leave. There's no commitment. We give you one promise only, that we'll never actually ring you up and say, where are you? Why didn't you turn up? So there'll be no follow-up phone calls and no one will chase you. So who's it for? Well, quite simply, it's for everybody. It's for those wanting to investigate Christianity, new Christians, newcomers to the church, or those who just want to brush up on the basics. So you may be saying, fine, that's all well and good, but what happens now? Well, we have probably only a couple of minutes now before we actually wind up. And it really falls to me to say that on behalf of everybody here in the Alpha team, I trust that you have found tonight actually interesting and enjoyable. Your options are just to walk away, or preferably, you might want to know more. We perhaps have whetted your appetite. So, consider whether you want to come on the course or not. If you do, if you'd like to see myself or any one of the team that will be here when we close in a few minutes, or just like the person that invited you tonight now, in the next few days. From a catering perspective, because we've got a lot of lasagna to make again. It's not lasagna every week, I promise you. For catering reasons, we actually need to know by Thursday of this week if you'd like to come along next Monday. So either let us know tonight if you're sure that you'd like to come along, or if not, if you could let the person that invited you know. If you have any questions, we'll be around to answer those at the end. And for those of you that would like something to actually take away to read, in the back right-hand corner there, there's a little table and there's some red books there entitled Why Jesus. So that just leaves me one final thing to say thank you. We trust you've enjoyed it. We trust that you found it enjoyable, and we sincerely hope that you'll come on and out of course. Thank you. Good night.